because I've wanted to get to a certain landmark before I do my next video. And that landmark has been hit. I finally hit 2.5 million steps, which means I am halfway through the 5 million step challenge, which means just a few more months to go. Now, on that note, I have really found this challenge challenging. And I found it really, really hard. I find myself being quite intimidated by the amount of steps I have to do, the amount of time it takes, and planning my life around it. I, on average, am running or walking for about 5 hours every day. My average is 44,000 steps a day, which is a lot. That takes a lot of time, especially when you're trying to run a business alongside it. So I thought today's video, I would be a bit more open and honest with you guys. My previous videos have very much been about information about EDS, but had a bit of a positive spin on it. Whereas today I want to talk to you a bit more about a bit of the downside of having EDS. Reason being because I myself am going through quite a hard time at the minute. So I probably resonate with what I'm feeling. So in all honesty, the big thing that comes to mind when I think about living with EDS is loss. And what that loss is associated with is, for me, loss of health. And that comes in lots of forms. So I've spoken about things such as my digestive system not functioning well. I've spoken about not being able to go to the toilet without using my peristine bag, and they are all things like loss of health. You know, I have a loss of being able to eat normal food. I have a loss of being able to go to the toilet like a normal person, or perhaps when I want to. A big thing I have lost is not being in pain. I am in pain probably 95% of the time. All of the dislocations and sub-dislocations that are associated with the condition cause a lot of pain. Nerves get trapped, muscles get pulled, and just the dislocation itself can be really painful. Other things I feel that I have lost along the way are, to be honest, and this is really sad, I feel like I've lost quite a lot of friends. Probably because, let's face it, a lot of people don't understand EDS, and because I look okay on the outside and because I'm doing a running challenge, people assume that, not there's nothing wrong, but that they don't understand when I have sort of down days or days where I can't really make events, or perhaps if I have to cancel on a social, there isn't much understanding as to why, because on the surface everything looks like it's okay and I'm holding it together. I try and be honest with people, I try and tell people what I need and accommodations, but again, unfortunately, it's really, really difficult with all of those accommodations, you know. A major thing that lots of people like to do as a social is go out for food. Well, it's very, very tricky for me because I am at the stage where I can't really eat normal food. I have to sort of blend and puree my food or eat things just like yogurt and soups and stews and that. And along with all of my allergies, it's really, really hard to find a restaurant that caters for that. And even if they do cater for that and let me, say, bring my own food, socially, it's really, really hard, because although people are like, no, we won't judge you, we won't ask you questions, everyone is literally like, eyes on you, what's going on, why are you different? And that's really, really hard. I don't like the focus being on me. And then another loss, as I've spoken before, is things like loss of relationships. Don't get me wrong, I'm very aware that living with someone with a chronic long-term condition can probably be quite difficult. And I do think that is a big part of why I've lost people in the past. But a huge, huge thing that all of these losses sort of feed into is, to be honest, a loss of self-worth and a loss of self-confidence. Something like being able to go to the toilet just whenever you want is something all of us take for granted until it's taken away from us. And trusting your body is really important when it comes to self-worth. And if you can't trust yourself to even be able to go to the toilet, or to be able to eat food without being in pain, or to be able to trust your body not to sort of dislocate your, you know, shoulders, ribs, neck, all the rest of it, you start really sort of looking at yourself in a different way. I know myself, being from a sports background, I've always looked at myself like a bit of a machine, sort of like, rather than sort of thinking, oh, I've got nice eyes, nice boobs, nice butt, whatever. I've always been focused on what can I do with it, with like the engine, let's say. And I've found it really hard, especially in the last year or so. Slowly, it's like my engine isn't working as efficient as it used to. And that is really, really hard, because I used to be able to do these things. And the thing is that this hasn't changed. This still thinks that I can do all the things. And having ADHD and autism as well, I'm so used to being able to go like a million miles an hour and having rigid routines for everything I do. And unfortunately, having a lifelong chronic condition means that you just can't be that rigid and have routine. It has to not have control, but it certainly has to have some element of control of your life. And yeah, that really affects self-worth and self-confidence. I myself am on a bit of a journey, trying to heal that, trying to look at myself perhaps in a different way, trying to work on sort of healing all of my losses, not just self-worth and that, but everything that I've lost. As I say, I feel like I've sort of lost friends in the past, I've certainly lost family in the past, I have lost my ability to do my sport that I very, very much loved. I have lost health, I've lost things like my function of my guts and all this. Other things, I've definitely lost career opportunities in the past because of it. You know, I always wanted to be in the RAF, can't do that. But I'm really trying to work on focusing on what I do have and being in the moment. And certainly having to run for 5 hours a day has really brought me back into the moment and really, really is making me focus on those things, which perhaps is a blessing in disguise because I'm really, really having to spend time alone just in my own mind and going over all those things. So yeah, that is an honest update on how I'm doing and how living with EDS affects me, let's say, mentally. If you have any questions, please do pop them below or send me a message on social. My Just Giving page is still open, and honestly, every donation, whether it be 50p, £50, whatever, they really push me on and really motivate me. I'm currently at £750 and I'd like to get up to 1,000, and I am halfway. So every run now, I'm running home basically. So yeah, I hope you have a good weekend.